We are back on the land, and today we will explore the trails and we'll show you around. Right now we're walking on the old logging trail, and there were some fallen trees across the trail, and we cleared these off with the chainsaw last weekend. So this is my first practice run.
Remember, you don't want to let the blade touch the ground.
Yeah, was I touched it?
It got pretty close, but I think you're okay. And again, try not to use the tip of the blade.
Yeah.
So you want to use way back. Try these last couple. You want to use way back towards the body of the sword. Yeah.
So today we are just clearing more of the trails so that we could walk through them and or walk through with the architect and not trip over. We're not going to drive the car on these, so just like clearing what's on the trail. Probably not a good idea.
So, the problem here is that the log wants to bend down, right?
Yeah.
So take the blade out. So we need to prop it up more just there.
Okay.
I would help, but I'm filming. Are you just going to casually ask me to lift this log again?
Yes.
You just kick. Oh yeah, kick cut. Yes. What we need is some kind of tractor.
Okay, there's more of a gap in there.
Yeah, perfect. So if the log had been a little smaller, we could have rolled it and cut from the other side, but it's too big.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, should we just move it off or cut another place?
How heavy is it now?
That's pretty heavy. Well, at least now we can walk through.
Yeah. Do you want me to come and move those?
Oh, that's fine. Right. Maybe not.
Who needs CrossFit, hey?
Okay, next one.
Okay, hang on. I'll move these out of the way a bit.
Okay. It's heavy.
This one's probably the heavy one, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think it's stuck in the roots.
Okay, that'll do for now.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Then we should be able to move these
Right. Yeah.
off one side. Off one side. Okay, another one down.
Next one.
Same again. This one you can just cut off over here though, right?
Yeah. Taking some rocks out of it with
Yeah,
lawn.
around here.
What?
So you can see how shallow those roots are.
Yeah, very shallow. No wonder it fell down.
It's really cleared the canopy here as well now.
Yeah. So the goal for today is to GPS track all the existing trails and wander through the land and see where we might create new trails. And we brought these flags. If we find anything interesting, we'll mark that so that we can find it next time. So the boundary is marked in a lot of places by, what's it called?
Barbed wire fence.
Barbed wire fence. And it's not always easy to see, so we just noticed it here and we attached this ribbon just so that we can find it the next time. I can hear the water. So the property line is marked with this barbed wire fence, and we're just trying to find where exactly it is and like marking it so that we can find it next time, so that we know exactly where our property line is.
Yeah, it's super old, and oftentimes it's like in trees, but there's also various breaks in the barbed wire.
Or it's under the years of leaves and ground and stuff like that.
So wherever we find it through a tree, we're flagging the tree. If we find it on the ground, we're taping its location and oftentimes putting one of these flags in as well. And it's a pretty straight line, actually.
Yeah.
Like as I look down there now, yeah, that's a pretty good straight line.
And then we've been using OnX map to kind of roughly see the GPS location. I mean, it's not super accurate, but kind of close enough. And then the forestry map from the previous forest management plan. That's also pretty useful to kind of see where, you know, there might be like bends in the boundary and so on.
And before the offer closed, like as we were researching and during the contingency period, we'd been out here and we'd found the boundary in various spots. We knew roughly where it was. Yeah. We sort of checked off the key points, like we knew we had a bit of the creek in there and things. Yeah. So today what we're just trying to do is mark out as much as we can to get it as complete as possible. Yeah,
so that when we build the trails, we are good neighbors and we don't build them on the neighbor's property.
Yeah.
Here through the back of the property, there used to be snowmobile trails, but nobody's been running them for like 10 something years, according to our neighbor. But it would be nice to make this into cross-country skiing trails for us in the winters.
So we know from the forest management plan roughly what type of trees and plants we have in the woods here. But we've just downloaded an app this morning called Picture This. Never used it before. I'm just on the 7-day free trial. But it's really cool. I can just take a photo of something. So for example, on here, I can take a photo of this. And it'll tell me straight away exactly what it is. And it seems really pretty reliable, actually.
And in this case, this is Eastern Hemlock.
This is Eastern Hemlock. It's identified our birch and our beech trees as well. We haven't
ferns.
We haven't tried any maples, but it's got the ferns. It got just a number of different things as we're going around, which is going to be great for us. Actually, this one here might be the hop-horn bean.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I know it has these spiky leaves. So let's see what the app thinks. Oh no, sweet birch, apparently.
Huh.
And yeah, I mean, if I look at the...
Oh, sweet birch, maybe that's the one that you want to tap. So, in Vermont, maple tapping is very, very common. In Latvia, we also tap maples, but we also tap birch. And I'm looking forward to try out some birch tapping here. You don't make a syrup out of it, but what you can do, you can preserve, I mean, you can drink it fresh, and it, you know, tastes nice and refreshing. But you can also preserve it. Probably the taste of it afterwards comes out as something like kombucha or something like that. And then on a hot, sunny summer day, preserved cold birch sap is a very nice drink. So the next business day, after we closed on this property, I spent almost the whole day on email and on phone to start lining things up. In this area, the kind of permit process is not really arduous, but there's still certain things that need to happen. To build a house, you need a zoning permit, and that just makes sure that you build the thing according to the rules of the area. So build a residential house in a residential zoning area. The zoning permit, it really just needs a site plan. It does not need the house plan to be done. You kind of have to roughly know where the house is going to be and roughly what size. What you also need for a zoning permit, you need to have the wastewater permit done by then. To have the wastewater permit, a septic design needs to be done, and we contacted our engineer to do the soil test for us, and he'll do the design as well. Before we can put the RV on the lot, to be comfortable in it, we kind of want to have the utilities. So build a septic well and so on. For that, especially bringing in the septic tank and putting in the well, that will need some heavy machinery. So we need to have a road to bring that machinery on it. To build the driveway, first we need to get they call it road access permit, because even though we have like an old logging trail that joins the road, it's not an official, like they call it, curb cut. So we need a kind of permit for that, just to make sure that it's in a place that is fine. So I lined up a meeting with a person that can help us with the driveway and kind of get his advice on where to put the curb cut, and we want to make sure that the road is the right kind of steepness, because in some places it is too steep, so I might have to do like a turn or something. And so the reason we'd not be able to do the driveway all by ourselves is because it's about 1,000-foot driveway.
It's about 1,000 feet. To make the road durable, we need to have a real good solid base. That means excavating a decent amount of ground and then backfilling with the subbase and the various layers that make up that road.
And were you calculating that how many truckloads of gravel it needs?
Yeah, just my very rough calculations was like over 30 giant dump trucks worth of material were going to be needed to do that. Not to mention a big excavator to come and kind of remove all of that top layer to put that in. So yeah, like it's just probably one of those things that for us to try and do ourselves would end up probably costing more.
Yeah, in the rental fees.
In rental, and not having access to the kind of the bulk material prices that a local contractor would have.
Yeah.
Not to mention just a lot of hard work that is using machines we don't know how to use, and yeah, so that's one that we're gonna outsource, get a contractor in for to help us with that.
We need to cut down the trees for the house side and to kind of widen the driveway. To do that, we first need to get house side area out of the current use. So that's, I have lined up a forester. I'll meet with him on site. So that is good. I also kicked off talking with the electrical company. The first step there is also for them to come over on site and kind of see the situation where the connection goes from the existing poles along the road. Fiber company doesn't really care about until there is electric and a watertight building.
Yeah.
So
there's all these things that to achieve something relatively simple, like parking our RV on the property with hookups, isn't just a case of installing some hookups. It's all the other dependencies that come in before that. Diana's been doing all of this hard work to unearth like what these dependencies are, what order we have to do things in. And this isn't something that we've like just suddenly realized.
Yeah, we knew that that's going to be a process, and we do it now in the beginning, but then after that, we're not going to have to deal with that again.
Yeah. And so really, like, even before we put the offer in, we'd already spoken to town officials, local utility companies, local contractors, just to like understand this, to make sure we knew. Make sure we knew what we were getting ourselves into. So now is the time to actually do all that stuff.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to do due diligence, and I'm actually trying to get multiple quotes for each thing, and we talked to multiple architects until we picked the one that kind of we think will vibe the best. It is a lot of organizational and lots of email, calendar tracking, and dependency tracking, but it's quite fun.
Yeah, and that's why you're not seeing us right now like marking out all the space to clear, because we haven't decided where we're going to clear yet. We need some permits in place before we start to do construction. So we've just sort of, the first month or so, is a little slower in terms of like
Doing
physical
stuff.
hands-on on the property. But once those things are done, hopefully we should be able to get moving.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I hope you join us on our new adventure of developing our home base from scratch. Consider subscribing if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you in the next video.